welcome to the program. It's Review on the Street, where we collect the views of the bystander as regards some of the selected stories on the front page of the newspaper. I am your regular anchor, Yekin Abidemi. Stay back as we move on to the S segment of the program, where we'll be engaging the bystanders, collect their views as regards some of the selected stories on the front page of the newspaper. Stay back. Today I have the Vanguard newspaper with me, along with the Nigerian Tribune. I'll be starting with the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, we have screaming headlines: 35.5 trillion debt, unsustainable, worrisome. NECA says PDPP says PPP approach best way to address infrastructure deficit, as government needs to review rising cost of governance, block leakages. Read more on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. PIA amendment proposal: Niger Delta rep to push for 5% equity share for host community. You can read more on page 7 of the Vanguard newspaper. Bandit attacked joint military base in Sokoto. Q15 mob kills pastor in Kano. For details, you can read more on page 33 of the Vanguard newspaper. Edo government to hold state burial for late Victor Waifo. You can read more on page 12 of the Vanguard newspaper. VAT, Nigeria star system problematic, confusing. That's coming from governors. You can read more on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. APC needs rugged captains to remain in power for next 50 years. That is coming from Modu Sheriff. And military, you can read more on that on page 7 of the Vanguard newspaper. Military gets March 2022 deadlines to end insurgency and kidnapping. For more details, read more on page 35 of the Vanguard newspaper. One killed, other injured as gunmen attack church in Kaduna. You can read more on page 37 of the Vanguard newspaper. There can be no peace without justice and equity. That's coming from the Vice President, Yemi Oshibajo. You can read more on page 7 of the Vanguard newspaper. Insecurity: 330,000 Nigerians refugees residing in neighboring country. That's coming from federal government. You can read more on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. 2023 PDP Senate caucus canvasses open race for presidency. Read more on that on page 35 of the Vanguard newspaper. And we'll move on to the next one. The next paper I have here with me is the Nigerian Tribune. And on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, we have locations of Radio Biafra discovered in Southeast London. You can read more on page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune. Why Oyo Osun Zone should not produce PDP national chairman. That's coming from Bode George. You can read more on that on page 23 of the Nigerian Tribune. Hush Puppy, U.S. governments gathered 2,700 electronic files, 6,700 page documentary evidence against Abba Kyari. Read more on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. 330,000 Nigerians now refugees in Chad, Cameroon, and Niger Republic. That's coming from federal government. Read more on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. Equity investors earn 10 billion naira in 5 days. This is on page 7 of the Nigerian Tribune. Access Bank to issue addition 5-year Tiers 1 Eurobond. That is read more on page 20 of the Nigerian Tribune. Capital markets can bridge infrastructure gap. That's coming from SEC. Read more on page 7 of the Nigerian Tribune. 61 years after, Nigerians poorer than ever before. Poverty rates moved from 15% in 1960s to 50% in 2021. Nigeria may never solve infrastructural deficit. That is coming from the governors of the central bank, Emefiele. Rising poverty, cause of insecurity. That is coming from Finance Minister. Read more on page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune. Robbery scare, police flay back over closure in Ijebu-Ode. You can read more on page 27 of the Nigerian Tribune. Non-implementation of agreement. ASU to meet FG next week. Read more on page 25 of the Nigerian Tribune. Arbitration panel order Intel to pay 624 sack dock workers. Full entitlement. You can read more on page 25. Nigerian at 61. Osibajo Sanwo-Olu, Makinde, Uzodinma, Leland call for prayer. Country suffering from leadership failure, says Wike. Adeboye declare peace, says all will be well. Read on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune. I'll move on to the next episode of the program where we'll be collecting views of the bystanders as regard some of the selected topics on the front page of the newspaper. We'll be right back. So 1 year after, Nigerians poorer than ever before. Poverty rates move, insecurity level on the high side. Considering the Nigerians 61 years of our existential independence sojourn, what do you think the federal government have been missing in the areas of development and the way of coping insecurity and poverty, which is on the high side on this country? In what way do you think the federal government can actually salvage this country?
Thank you very much. I think it's not only the federal government and the state government and the state governments have been getting it wrong. Right from the beginning, right from the First Republic, we've been getting it wrong. Right? We have the first university in Nigeria here, which is University of Ibadan. Right? The population of student admission in between 48 and 58 is not more than 500 people. Right? And we have a lot of money there. Nothing prevents the then government from bringing free education from primary school to the university level. Then we have a level playing ground. By now we will be better than China. Leave that. Let's assume they got it wrong. They did free education at primary level. Right? The present government should go back. No nation can become great without proper development of his or her human resources. Right? All the state governors, the federal government, they should come back and plan for the education of our future children. Education should be free in this country from primary school to university level. That is when we are about to start. Without free education, what is the population of Nigeria? They are saying about 200 million people. That 200 million people, how many graduates do we turn out every session? Less than 300,000. Both university and polytechnic graduates. Let's go back to the basis, and that is free education at all levels. Then we are preparing for a better future. We are preparing for security of the citizen. It is hunger that brings about all this stupendous. Thank you very much.
Very well. It is believed that the security rate, the high rate of insecurity we have in this country is as a result of high poverty rates. To some quarters, it is believed. Considering what you just said as regard the educational sectors, do you think, what is the synergy? What do you think is the synergies between the high poverty rate in this country and the levels of insecurity, Daddy?
Now, no matter if you have education, at least to the first degree level, the ingenuity in you will come out definitely. Then you can start doing things apart from white collar job. A lot of people outside there are better than those of us who are educated. But because they don't have that necessary ingredients that will push out the ingenuity in them, right? So the poverty rate is created by lack of education, right? If you are educated, right, the degree of poverty is reduced. Your chances of becoming self-sufficient, be able to fend for yourself, will be high, right? Whereas if you are not educated, you lose hope easily. That, well, what can we do? It's all, there is nothing again there. We can go to Babalawo and do some fetish things to get money. Yes, some so-called educated people do it. They don't have proper education. You get what I'm saying? We should go back to the basis. Education will reduce level of poverty. Education will reduce. When the level of poverty is reduced, insecurity will be reduced. Thank you very much.
Okay, but Daddy, let's look at this area. We know the military to be the custodians of our territorial defense.
Yes.
And from the look of things we saw here this morning, bandit attacked joint military base in Sokoto. Don't you think that the membrane, the walls protecting the securities of this country is cracking? If the military could be threatening, if the military base, the joint security force could be threatening, what is the assurance that the lives of an average citizen in this country is really protected or guaranteed?
I will want to take you back. I want to take you down memory lane. In the 70s, right? The Northern Irish Army, that is a form of, I won't call them terrorists, fighting for their rights, wanting independence from the British colony, right? Started bombing England, right? They bombed some military base, right? So when you are saying terrorists, these people you are calling terrorists are not organized fighters. They move around, and then when they see a slack somewhere, they strike and run away. So it is not that our military are not efficient. It's not as if we can't rely on them. They are very, very reliable. I am serious. I have seen a lot of their exercises here and there. But we need a good government. We need a government that will show sense of direction, right? When the government shows sense of okay, let me give you an example. They said some times ago that corruption is what this government is going to fight. The level of corruption now is higher than ever before at all quarters, right? I'm not afraid to say that. The level of corruption right now is higher than ever before at all quarters, right? Even in your office, if I want my news to be heard, you have to do something, right? It's not as if because you are terribly corrupt. No, it's because somebody up there is swindling billions. If somebody is swindling billions and you now look at it that look, me, I borrowed I borrowed yam flour from somebody yesterday. Today I'm going to borrow pepper, and so this man wants his news to be heard. I can get 200 naira from him and buy that pepper. So I will not say it's your fault directly. It's not the fault of the poor people. It's the fault of the people that are high up there who have that opportunity, who was given that opportunity to be at a salted position, and they refuse to change themselves. Let me give you a good example of one good Nigeria. I used to know Professor Ransom Kuti. The man, when he was alive, when he was in Department of Pediatrics, College of Medicine, University of Lagos, smoked cigarettes. The day he became Minister for Health, he said, I must stop smoking because I am the example people will be looking at in health departments. That is how to be a good leader.
Daddy, 2023 is fast approaching. 2023 is fast approaching.
Yes.
What would be your word of advice to an average citizen in this country, right, in determining their leaders for the next 4 years by 2023?
It's all right. That is a very difficult question to answer because we already find ourselves in a situation where more than 75% of people are hungry, right? And you see, there's that popular saying that an hungry man is an angry man, right? And if you are hungry and somebody bring pancake, ordinary pancake, you know what pancake looks like, and say, my friend, don't be annoyed, take this pancake. He didn't make any request, he just gave you pancake. You ate the pancake and drank one sachet of pure water. The man now comes back and say, look, I have somebody that will do good for us. he wants to contest for election. You will be forced by rule of natural justice to think that this man that gave me pancake and came to solicit for support for somebody is likely to be following somebody that will do well. Meanwhile, the man might not do well. So my advice is this: there is no way whether you give an advice or you don't give an advice, people will take money from politicians and vote for people that have given them money. Forget it. In this country today, if you don't give money, you can't get any votes. I will not take money because I will not vote for money. Some people will not vote for money, but more than 70% of people will vote for money. So what are we talking about? Thank you very much.
Ọlọ́run ṣàánú wa ni àwọn adarí wa wọn ò tẹ̀ fẹ́ nífẹ̀ẹ́ wa ẹ̀rọ ìjà pé a nífẹ̀ẹ́ wọn because lẹ́bi ọdún mélòó sẹ́yìn nísìn àmọ́ bí ó tó rí ní Nàìjíríà wa pàápàá jùlọ àwa mẹ̀kúnnù oúnjẹ jíjẹ nísìn ó tiẹ̀ nira ní ẹ̀ ń bá bímọ mẹ́ta mẹ́rin nísìn àfàìmọ̀ kan fẹ́ kó wọn fi ọmọ sọgbà fún ẹlòmíì gan ẹ wo iye pure water dà ẹ wo iye gàrí dà ẹ wo iye lùbúrà ẹ wo iye sùdà ọkọ̀ táwọn ọ̀gán bó ló ṣe rí tẹ́lẹ̀ ẹ wò bó ṣe dà nísìn àfikún náà bá kọ́ ṣàánú wa Ọlọ́run la pè kọ́ wá gbà wá lórílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà because àwọn tó já ṣáájú wa darí wa wọn ò nífẹ̀ẹ́ àwa mẹ̀kúnnù bámúbámú mu yó lọ́rọ̀ wọn mọ̀ pé bí n pọ́ mẹ́rin ọkà ẹ̀yin ní ẹ̀wò gbogbo project ńlá ń ṣe nísìn wọ́n mọ̀ inflate wọ́n sì kó wọn sápò náà ni Ọlọ́run gbà wá lórílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà kọ́ Ọlọ́run ṣàánú wa Ọlọ́run náà la képe bọ́rọ̀ bá dàrú Ọlọ́run la képe bọ́bá sì tún dáa náà Ọlọ́run náà la mọ̀ képe Ọlọ́run gbà wá lórílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà àwọn tí wọ́n já sáré wa kán mọ́ gbọ́ torí kálukú náà ní sọ lọ́tún lọ́sì ṣùgbọ́n ọ̀dà ń pé etí kún létí wọn ò gbọ́n tí à ń sọ Ọlọ́run tó sì ní kápá lórí ohun gbogbo yóò fún wọn sùúrù wọn ó lè rí tàwa mẹ̀kúnnù náà rò.
àwọn kan sọ wípé ebi àti àbí ká sọ pé ògidì ìyàn tó wà níta tó fa àìní ó kún nǹkan tó jẹ́ pé ó tún fà tó fi jẹ́ pé ọ̀rọ̀ àìsí ètò ààbò agbébọn káàkiri tó fi jẹ́ pé ó tún di bí ẹni pé ó tún peléke sí nínú èrò tí yín sẹ́yìn ẹ̀yin rò bẹ́ẹ̀.
rò bẹ́ẹ̀ sẹ́rí gbogbo mọ̀rú ètò ààbò tí ń ṣẹlẹ̀ à ń pani lọ́tọ̀ à ń pani lọ́sì ọwọ́ ìjọba náà ló ti wá kì í sọwọ́ aráàlú ẹ wo pàápàá àdúlẹ̀ ní ọ̀rọ̀ tá a wà yìí nísìn ẹ mọ̀ pé ńgbà kan àsìkò sùlà wà iṣu ọ̀pọ̀ yanturu la máa rí kò sí iṣu 1000 èlé kan nísìn ń gbà pé gbogbo ẹni tí ó dáko wọ́n ti sá lọ tán nígbà bá ti ń dáko àwọn agbébọn wọn lọ pa wọn mọ kálukú ti sáko Ìbàdàn tá a wà ẹ wò kó ti kún jù àwọn èèyàn wọn ti wà ọfà kódẹ́ẹ̀dì ní Ìbàdàn gangan pàápàá jùlọ ẹ ń bá lójú inú yóò wò ẹ ibòmíì tọ́jú pé ọkọ̀ ó lè lẹ́ẹ̀bá nísìn tẹ́ bá débẹ̀ nísìn bá wà dé bí aago 6 àwọn ò ti tó lọ Ọlọ́run sá gbà wá náà ni ètò ààbò orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà bó ṣe rí kò dáa Ọlọ́run bá wa tún ṣe ètò àfa ibi jù gangan ni pé àwọn àgbẹ̀ tí ó dáko bí wọ́n bá ti ń pa wọ́n kálukú náà ní gbórí ara rẹ̀ sá ẹ wo orú tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ń gbòó nísìn gbogbo orú bẹ́ẹ̀ náà láti tí wọ́n ti máa kó oúnjẹ wá sí ìlú ń bí nígbà tí wọ́n ti ń pa wọ́n mọ́kó kálukú ó ti sá omi tí ó ti rí ìgbàlá ẹ̀mí ara rẹ̀ kálukú ti sá lọ kọ̀sẹ́ ní ẹ̀ka lóko mọ́ èmi tẹ̀ wò wọ́n fẹ́ dáko ṣùgbọ́n nígbà tó di pé àdúgbò bí wọ́n fẹ́ dáko sí àwọn Fúlàní lọ ká wọn mọ́kó wọ́n ń pa wọn mọ́kó èmi tí ń tiẹ̀ gbé ibi tó kó wà tí ń bá dáko lónìí tí gbogbo àlẹ́ ọbẹ̀ mọ́ tí wọ́n ti fi màálù jẹ gbogbo oko mi tán kí wọ́n fẹ́ kó lérè ní tí òjé mi gangan dáko lọ́dún inú tẹ́mi bá dá tẹ́lómi náà dá sẹ́yìn pé oúnjẹ ọ̀pọ̀ ń lù yọ̀ mọ́ kúnra wọn.
ìbò gbogbogbò ó tún bọ̀ ní ọdún 2023 kò pẹ́ mọ́ torójú ló pẹ́ sí gẹ́gẹ́ bí òwe Yorùbá kí ni ìmọ̀ràn yín fáwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà nínú ìpinnu wọn láti yan olórí mi fún ọdún 4 mìíràn.
sẹ́rí ìpinnu tí ń bẹ ńlẹ̀ dáa ṣùgbọ́n ní ìrírí tèmi ó le díẹ̀ torí pé àwọn tó jẹ́ bàbá wa lálẹ́ Yorùbá wọ́n ti kó wa wọ́n ti áńkọ́fù wa ìbẹ̀tà fẹ́ jà kò lè ṣe jà dáadáa because àwọn òkè ọya nísìn ẹ bá gbọ́ ròyìn níbi ọ̀sẹ̀ méjì sísìn wọ́n ní ààrẹ orílẹ̀-èdè ogun bàbá àwọn ni àwọn làwọn ọmọ jẹ́ torí pé kò sẹ́yà tó tó àwọn mọ́ táwọn pé bí wọ́n ṣe ń pín jọ táwọn Yorùbá àti Ìgbò táwa náà ń pín bẹ́ẹ̀ ìgbà ìfagbágá ó wà kò sí ìgbìfagbágá kódà ká má dìbò gan tí wọ́n bá yan ààrẹ lórílẹ̀-èdè wọn bí wọ́n bá gbé lọ kọ́tù wọn náà ní ọ̀pọ̀ jù lóòótọ́ so ìfàsẹ́yìn yẹn ti wá tipẹ́tipẹ́ àfi kọ́lọ́run bá wa láṣẹ ni kọ́lọ́run rọ̀ wọ́n fún wa bí wọ́n ti ní wọ́n fẹ́ máa rẹ̀ ń gúúsù ní ìsìn èmi náà fara mọ́ ṣùgbọ́n ǹjẹ́ ọ̀rọ̀ tí wọ́n ń sọ só lè jẹ́ ó ṣeé ṣe àfi ká bẹ lọ́hùn kọ́ lọ́hùn jẹ́ ó ṣeé ṣe.
ẹ ṣeun bàbá. This is why we'll be drawing the curtains on today's episode of Reveal on the Street. Till next week, I will be coming on your screen. I am your regular anchor, Yekin Abidemi. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page, Heritage TV, and you can as well be our friend on Facebook, Heritage TV. My editor, Akintola Ibrahim.